Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Klonoa 2. So, we have an awkwardly long part because we fight a boss, which is not long enough to last a part on its own, and then the next level is weirdly long.
Oh, okay.
So why didn't you just make the last part a bit longer?
Because we don't want an 8-minute part.
Yeah, but like you could have added an 8-minute part onto the 19 minutes before. And then you would have had them pretty much half and half.
No, that would have made the last part like 28 minutes still.
And not the 28 minutes that we're doing now.
It's all a matter of when we would have done
Need
it.
to hire me, man. I can fix all of your problems.
BrainScratch behind the scenes. I just want to take a moment to appreciate how expertly cut that ruby on the ring is, seeing as how it has a star pattern in it and everything. And yet, the top is completely flat.
Don't drop it! We were just talking about how immaculate it was. No respect. No respect.
So, did Sauron have the elves make power rings for dragons at some early stage in the concept development for his grand plan? Is that the next season of Rings of Power? The failed power rings for dragons?
That's such a good idea.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
It's fucking stupid is what it is.
Don't worry, what's her name will do the one-horse trick she knows how to do. And now I'll defeat the dragon.
Wait, what? Galadriel?
Galadriel, yeah.
I haven't actually gotten around to watching the show yet, so...
It's not very good.
That's what I keep hearing. But, like, it's so freaking hard to tell whether the criticism is genuine or just people bitching, because that's the world we live in these days.
Well, it's the world we live in exclusively online, because you can have conversations with people that are not online, and they don't talk like people online do.
I wish I knew anyone in real life who actually wanted to talk about pop culture, as opposed to just saying, it was good, and ending the conversation there. I'm cursed to be surrounded by plebs everywhere I go.
But that's why you have us, Lewis.
You think someone who grew up on 2nd edition D&D would have a bit more to say when they have a conversation about a movie, but I guess not.
Not everything needs to be about criticism, though, does it?
Well, it doesn't need to be about criticism, but, you know...
Have a more deep conversation than just good or bad.
If you could at least extrapolate a little bit, describe the things that you liked or disliked about a thing...
I think that's. I mean, this is. I don't know if this is a particularly hot take or not. I have no idea, but like, I reckon that's like, if that's not taught to you in early childhood, like critical thinking about what you're absorbing and taking in, and if it's like, you know, decently made or anything, then it's not something that if you're not doing it as an adult and not even thinking about it, then I don't think it ever will be a natural part of how you absorb media. I don't know.
This is a frustration that I've had since I was like maybe 10 years old, where I always wanted to like go a little bit deeper in talking about the things that I liked, and nobody else around me ever did. So
yeah, not at 10 years old. You wouldn't have been a very fun 10-year-old. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I didn't exactly know how to describe my thoughts exactly, but I always wanted to, if that makes sense.
No, I know what you mean, because what was it that I first watched and I was like, it was something, I can't remember, I think it was a film. That was it. It was, of all things, the Tom and Jerry movie. The original animated one from the 90s, that one. Because I remember seeing it when I was a kid, and I loved Tom and Jerry, loved it when I was a kid, still love it now, and it's like, I remember seeing that for the first time as a kid and being like, I don't like this, and I'm not sure why I don't. And
you
then
mean the movie with the little girl and
stuff, when they're
yeah.
talking,
when they start talking,
and it's like you can and now you can watch it at, like with hindsight and like a mature mind and be like, oh, that's why I don't like it. But as a kid, it's like I should like it. It's Tom and Jerry. Why don't I? I don't want to watch this again, you know? But then you don't like it. But then you're a kid and like you have the VHS and that's kind of all you have. And it's like you watch it over and over again anyway. I've seen that movie like 20 fucking times and I didn't like it. Every single time I didn't like it. And I was just like, oh, I'll watch it.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I don't think I ever saw that movie as a kid, but I played the game. But I had no idea there was a movie because the game wasn't called like Tom and Jerry the movie or Tom and Jerry the movie the game. It was called Tom and Jerry Frantic Antics.
Oh,
and
I didn't know I didn't know it was a game based on the movie. That's weird.
It is a game based on the movie. All the levels and what little story there are in the darn thing are all based on the movie. But you wouldn't know that because the game doesn't associate itself with the movie. It just goes through like all the little plot beats of the movie. Like there's an entire level that's the house being demolished with wrecking balls swinging through and stuff.
Oh, cool.
The wrecking balls are instant death, by the way. The very first instant death hazard that I ever encountered in a game.
I mean, it's realistic. I'll give them that.
So yeah, that was my first gaming trauma was those goddamn wrecking balls.
Wrecking ball killing Jerry the mouse.
The scene amuses me because the cat looks like it wants to hug the entire time.
Doesn't it want to hug the entire time? It looks like it.
That's pretty much what it looked like when Tom got hit by the wrecking ball, him hugging the damn thing.
Give me a hug, Leorina, or you will die.
Okay.
There you go.
Hug.
There you go.
Power is worthless.
That was a very expensive animation there.
You must stop the creatures of sadness. Well, good job, Leorina. You got there faster than Anakin Skywalker. Okay, so what's next? How do we leave this floating dimensional hexagon donut?
You'll see in a second. I'm saying that because I don't remember. So I'm just...
No, we just kind of leave.
We just kind of fade out. It'll be fine.
Actually, you know what? That's made me think. Most of the stuff that happens in Clonoa is like they finish the level and then they just end up in the next area without any explanation.
Yep.
That's quite funny.
To be fair, it wasn't until pretty late in development history that game designers started incorporating like
Level transitions.
Well, not necessarily level transitions, but semi-believable architecture into their level design concepts.
That's one of the reasons I think that in a design sense Crash 1 is so great, because it is level by level, select level, go to the next level. It's traditional, but every level kind of follows on from each other and it's all linked in with the island theme, and there is kind of like a journey that you're going on. And I like that.
Yeah.
It's clever.
It was cool.
And I like as well how you start off in like the wilds and the depths of the jungle, and then you eventually find the ruins, and then it gets slightly more technological the closer you get to Cortex's castle, and then you lose all the ruins and all the jungle settings. It's really clever. And it's all done with level to level.
Then there's the idea that Cortex built his castle on top of some ruins. Disrespectful prick that he is. Although that's not entirely original, because Eggman did the same thing in Sonic 1. But, you know, I always liked the idea.
And Sonic, actually, you know, now you say that, Sonic actually did at least try and save the animals. Crash didn't give a shit. He was just, I want my big titty girlfriend back. That's all he was doing.
I mean, to be fair, all the animals he did encounter were already, like, twisted bad.
They were too far gone. Can't save them. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Pizza. We can't save them. It's too late.
Alrighty. Let's see. We're back in the stupid...
We're back in the tree.
We're back in the Ark.
Pipe fortress thing.
Yeah, because we started up the Ark the last time we did a recording session. Now we have to stop the Ark.
I like the idea of going back to revisit locations that you've been to under different circumstances.
Yeah. No. Oh. No.
It does at least give the setting, you know, a bit of consistency. And to be fair, that's not something that platformers have always necessarily been bad at. I mean, yeah, there are some games that just go from world to world, and it really only matters insofar as levels have a theme. Like
Yeah.
you could be in a literal TV dimension, hopping back and forth between channels, and they'll be fine. But the earliest platformers, the Mario ones, did at least have like the rude beginnings of a consistent world in how they laid out their levels. So.
And you also get to reuse the same level and not have to pay any more money, which is really good.
You know, I always liked games that had multiple instances of the same level theme, though. This goes back to my earliest times with Gex Enter the Gecko. I might have said this during our Gex commentary, actually, but I liked having multiple instances of the haunted house level theme. Because they would do something new and interesting with every version of it, and because the level themes were so spread out throughout the entire game, like the second haunted house level theme wouldn't just be a soft escalation from the first; it would be a lot harder than the first one.
Yeah,
you'd be revisiting that theme, but it'd be a completely different experience because of how much more challenging it was designed to be compared to the previous ones.
I love how you got completely taken for a ride by that bomb just then.
I did.
You
yes.
you couldn't get any of those attempts of catching it for like a minute, and then you finally picked it up, and then it immediately blew up.
Yep.
It waited until the very last moment of like after a minute of not blowing up, and then it was like, I'm gonna blow up now.
Well, those birds are fucked. Okay, just
Getting the bomb in there is strangely finicky.
It is
There we go.
weirdly difficult, yeah. I remember that being a bit annoying.
and then it just poofs in this little anticlimactic smoke puff. Okay.
Look at that explosion. That's like Mighty Number 9 kind of shit. In fact, actually, no, that looks better than Mighty Number 9.
It's like the two of them are looking. Are we sure it exploded right? Do you think the bomb died?
do you think that big fire and all the shaking means it's working?
And then it suddenly just goes off, and they're like, "Oh, it did work."
And even better, nothing changed. No hole blown into anything. Room is still okay. Everything's fine.
I think we just gave the fuel tank a little extra push.
Oh, hang on, wait. There's a timer up there. So even though we've already blown up the bomb, it still has to count down until it actually blows up. That was just a test blow up.
Okay, weird.
Also, Ryan, you flagrantly ignored my question from the last part. When did you get HD TV? Come on.
When did I get my own HDTV or HDTV in general?
Oh, I mean, well, yeah, parents, you. Well,
The question was like your first HDTV.
Well, yeah, like what caused you to get one? What was like the final straw of okay, CRT isn't going to work anymore?
Parents got one around mid 2000s just to finally upgrade.
Yeah.
And I really got my first experience with it through we hooked my PS3 up to it.
Oh yeah.
So it looked real nice.
Oh yeah. I always loved how sleek the PS3 the whole system was.
Yeah. It was a little tough to go back to old games on it because it just didn't look right. So I was like, okay, we'll keep the GameCube on the other TV.
Yeah. That was the right thing to do. I remember, like, even back in the day when it was like, you could get, like, TVs that weren't, like, when HD stuff wasn't really the norm yet, and HDMI cables for devices weren't really a thing yet, but you got the TV and it had the sticker on it that said it was HD ready. Like, it was ready for when it all came out. It's like, it's so cute.
You know, I actually do have a pretty big CRT TV in my room right now. It just doesn't work because the power cable is cut.
Oh. Is it not? Does the power cable, is it attached to the TV?
The power cable is attached, but it's also cut. Like, a couple inches off the TV, like someone just snipped it off with a pair of scissors.
Why did they do that?
I need to get it repaired at some point, but the person who previously owned it left it at their curb with a little free sign on it.
Well,
And it's like, yeah, it's free, but it doesn't work.
it's free, but it has literally no electricity being able to get to it. Like, what? Why did they cut the cord? What use?
The thing is, I imagine that's actually a pretty easy, like, repair job. I just haven't gotten around to fixing it.
Oh, get on it. It's the in thing nowadays.
I would need to hire someone else to do it for me, but, like, I just haven't gotten around to spending the money on it. So this big, huge, effing heavy CRT TV has just been collecting dust in my room for the last year or so.
You know what you need to do? It's sitting there and collecting dust because nothing works with it. You need to get a HD TV.
Well, I have one.
You need to get with the times, man.
I have my
4K Ultra HD.
my actually my first HD TV still works, so that's sitting over there on the other side of the room, connected to my older consoles, and then I have my 2 PC monitors for my PC. But like, it's like I keep looking over at that CRT TV and thinking to myself, well, the first thing I think to myself is, did they have to glue those reflective beads to the top of it? Doesn't even look nice. They're just
reflective
stuck
beads.
there randomly. They're these
like
reflective
crafting beads.
Yeah, someone glued a bunch of them to the top, and it always confuses me when I look at it, because it's not like they did a design or anything with it. It's just a random blob.
That sounds like a kid. That sounds like a little girl's
some
TV. That sounds like a little girl's bedroom TV.
Well, I would think so, but it's also way too big to be a bedroom TV. It's like... Like,
dude,
holy shit.
Oh my god, when I had my, this is the same plasma that was completely busted after like 5-6 years of use, but when it was newer, it was a 32-inch, and in the bedroom that it used to stay in when I lived with my parents, every time I opened my bedroom door to get into my room, I had to open it extremely slowly and push the TV as far against the wall as possible, but like, I had to push it so far into the wall that the wall would have to bow in order to then get the door to open. So I was essentially nearly pushing a hole in my bedroom wall every time I had to open my bedroom door because the TV was too big to fit in there.
Oh. Wow.
We have very flexible walls in the UK. You just like push the TV against it, and you could just push. It was like, you know, like old sci-fi show where like you could see that the set was made of cardboard. It was kind of like that.
Oh no.
Oh, here we go again.
No, this one's not too bad.
This one looks like a frickin' egg.
They all look like eggs.
The walls look like dinosaur bones. What the hell? What is this Cthulhu ship?
It's another cute Japanese game with an extremely dark, horrific undertone.
Of course. Haven't you played Kirby?
Yeah, exactly.
Alright, so... that particular enemy, the one that's floating around on an orange ball, for some reason, all I could think of was Dragon Ball. And I'm trying to figure out why I'm making that mental connection. Obviously, the ball it's floating on is the same color as a Dragon Ball, but it feels like I'm thinking of a particular piece of art or something. I can't place it in my head.
Sorry, Sonic, we're cramping your style for a little bit.
Sky Chase Zone. Hell.
It's a good thing Clonoa doesn't drop the ring while he's doing his little taunt.
Speaking of Sonic Adventure, this plane has gems for propellers too.
Well, look at that.
I was always confused by that design aspect in Sonic Adventure, how he just stuck the Chaos Emerald in the propeller. As if that made any sense at all, but like, holy... They're doing it here too. They just have gems for propellers. It's not even gems inside the propellers, it's the gems themselves are the propellers.
Yeah, if you spin them fast enough, they'll propel something, I guess.
Why are you trying to get his kill tap?
Why did you loop back around through the flames again?
She's still mad at us. I'm going to help you, but I'm going to be very passive-aggressive about it.
I mean, you are flying on a plane that's being propelled by gems. He doesn't want to help.
This plays like a Super Smash Brothers stage.
Kinda.
Oh, you know what? That's what was going on through my head, and you just nailed it. Yeah, that was Clonoa. They tried to get Clonoa in for Smash, didn't they?
Yeah, he was never going to get in over a Tekken character in Pac-Man.
Which is so strange. Like, out of every new edition, I don't get the Tekken inclusion. I'm not complaining, I just don't understand it for Smash Bros, that's all.
Well, one, it's a very popular franchise. The other is Bandai Namco has made the last two Smash Brothers games.
Have they really?
Yeah.
Oh.
They've been the primary developer. Sakurai's just been the guy in charge.
Oh, well, I knew Sakurai was just kind of like executive producing / directing. I knew that, but I thought it was still HAL. I thought it was still the Kirby people.
Nope.
Oh.
I mean, I'll also say that Tekken does make sense as a Smash inclusion just from a historical significance standpoint.
I've just never associated Tekken with Nintendo at any point, aside from Tekken GBA. Classic.
Well, I mean, Metal Gear Solid's in there, so...
Yeah, true. Oh, but there was Twin Snakes.
I mean, a lot of the guest characters aren't really Nintendo things. They're just,
they're not necessarily Nintendo, but like I could squint my eyes and associate Solid Snake and Sonic, because there's kind of a bit of logic there, but just oh yeah, here's Kazuya. Like, okay, why? Like, it's just weird. I don't know. It just doesn't sit right with me.
Cloud.
I mean, Smash has more PlayStation All-Stars than PlayStation All-Stars does.
Yeah, true.
But like,
oh god, Heihachi was in PS All-Stars, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
So father and son. That must have been intentional.
The thing about Tekken is it's the Street Fighter of 3D fighting games. So
I love Tekken. Tekken's my fave.
I definitely prefer it over Street Fighter.
Oh,
that's
God.
interesting.
So RIP your comment section.
Almost no one prefers 3D fighters over 2D fighters. Even
well, I said
these
Tekken
days.
over Street Fighter.
Well,
I never said, like, a Reboot fighter.
Tekken was never a 2D fighter, really. So,
well, I mean, it was always a 3D fighter in the technical sense.
yes.
Some people will mistakenly call it a 2D fighter because of its stiff 8-directional movement and the way that like most of the action is concentrated in that left to right plane, but like it's a 3D fighter. It's just an old school 3D fighter because Tekken fans would revolt if they changed the movement system to be even slightly more movement-y than it is.
They tried that with Tekken 4 and it wasn't very good.
In Tekken 4, what they did was they sort of implemented slopes and stuff into the terrain.
It didn't work very well.
That's when you could start beating your opponent up against the wall and stuff, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, the walls and stuff did end up staying, or being refined at least, but the actual addition of slopes into the level geometry didn't. I guess players just don't like the idea of the slopes messing with the high, middle, low dynamic of different attacks.
Yeah, it made some characters really unplayable.
It's, speaking of Tekken 4, like, I remember getting that game as a kid. I was so hyped. And the one thing I wasn't expecting to feel from it was terrified. That game used to scare the shit out of me.
Why is that?
The atmosphere, I can't explain what it is, but it is such a harsh, like, it's very mechanical and very, like, cyberpunky and just very aggressive and abrasive. It's not very, like, fun arcade, high octane, loud music. Like, even just like the first notes you hear on the opening movie, it's such a creepy soundtrack, and like you go on story mode and then you got a creepy voice telling you creepy story, and then it's all got creepy music with weird screams in the background. It's just a very weirdly creepy, lonely, atmospheric kind of game.
It is the game that Kazuya came back, so
You're not the only person who's had that impression, because I vaguely recall watching a video about that recently.
Oh yeah,
recently, long ago enough that I've forgotten who did it. Maybe it was Gaming Brit, not sure. But like,
I love
him. The thing about Tekken 4 is that it doesn't hold up as well as the others in terms of just being a Tekken fighting game experience.
I don't go back to it at all.
But as a single player sort of experience, it's probably one of the Tekken games that stands out the most.
I remember, like, I think Tekken 5 is cream of the crop. I adore Tekken 5, but like
Tekken 5's great.
Yeah, but like Tekken 4 is just like there's so many moments in Tekken 4 which I just can't forget, because it stands out, like, all on its own. Maybe it's got something to do with it being like, oh, well, Tekken Tag was technically the PS2 transition, but like, hey, mainline Tekken, we're not fucking around anymore. Like, here's PS2, here's what we're gonna do. Like, technology's moving forward, here's combat. Like, fuck you guys. Yeah, it just seems a bit, it seems a bit like technology's moving forward, and like maybe they don't quite like how technology's moving forward. It's like the dark edge of technology. It's just it's an anomaly, but it's a very unique experience for a fighting game.
I remember when Tag came out on PS2, it was like a launch title for the PS2, and I just remember thinking about just how damn good it looked.
Yeah, Tekken Tag is awesome.
Tekken Tag 1 is cool, but it also had the weird quality of feeling like a PS1 Tekken game with PS2 graphics.
It felt like an upscale, really.
We didn't care. It looked amazing at the time.
Yeah, it's just like comparing that to Tekken 4. Tekken 4 definitely felt like they were
stepping it up.
They were trying to figure out what PS2 Tekken should be, as opposed to just doing PS1 Tekken again.
I'm assuming that's because Tekken Tag came out like in the late 90s in arcades to begin with, so it was almost like it was basically just a kind of pseudo sequel to Tekken 3 pretty soon after Tekken 3 already happened. So yeah, it wasn't trying to be the next big grand thing. I think it was always supposed to be a bonus kind of thing, but it worked out quite well.
Yeah.
So hashtag Klonoa for Tekken 8.
Why not? He's a Namco character.
Yeah, why not, right? Or at least like a little, like, I don't know, like a little costume, like they get the little hat in there or something. I'd appreciate the reference.
Look, just do a frickin' like live action style frickin' Bomberman Zero kinda reboot reimagining of the Klonoa character. And
oh my god!
Tekken as a random ass extra.
Yeah, we should do a gritty reboot of Clonoa, and he's like a real cat with like he was experimented on to get extra long ears, and they forced him to stand up. You know, dude, go fucking Guardians of the Galaxy 3 on it. Properly just go hardcore on the animal experimentation message.
Hooray, we blew up a ship.
You did good.
That's why there was a Cthulhu chamber full of eggs, because the ship
It was a living ship. It was a living ship.